Hold up, let me see. There must be somewhere with better lighting. Hold up, hold up. Yeah, you don't want this as a background though. Might just have to be here. Alright, Q&A. Yeah, Q&A. It's been a long quarantine, mandatory quarantine, so yeah, let's get to it. Righty-o. First question. You've mentioned before that you have a grand plan for your career and how your fight against Jan was an opportunity you took early before you'd originally planned to move up in weight. Assuming your fights go as expected, how much can you share of what the future will look like for the last stylebender? Huge fan, smiley face. That was from Finn Prosa. Appreciate the question. Very insightful question. How much of the future do I share? The future changes. That's the thing. The future is always shifting. I look at life as like, this is me here right now. But then there's multiple webs of different possibilities of how things can go. I normally have my head on like, I can juggle say 3, maybe 4 different strands at a time, but I focus on one. But I don't look at, oh, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Oh, what if I do this or did that? I've been there before, and people who do that feel like they're all over the place and never really stick to one thing. So I focus on one web, but I have my eye on like 3 different webs, but I focus on one path, one web, one strand, and I do my best to make that timeline come true to the way I see it. But then again, this is life. Life happens. Life will throw obstacles at you, will throw shit you never expected. So you have to be able to be okay with that. You have to be able to be flexible. You have to be, example, the Jan fight, I was gonna be double champ. I this close, didn't make it. And yeah, I'm just flexible with it. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't get it that time. Back to the main mission on the game. And I just defended my belt again for the 4th time. Don't get it twisted. Don't let these fool you, man. 4-time defending middleweight champion. Soon to be 5th. Boom. But yeah, it's like a quote I've seen, like, work in silence, let your success do the talk. Yeah, it works for some people. I work in silence to a certain degree, and I say a certain bit so you guys can, I guess, come along for the ride. And also, the method to my madness is so I can hold myself accountable. I told everyone, each king in the ring, anyone that listened, I'm gonna win it. I've told everyone since day dot that I'm gonna be UFC champion. That way, the method to my madness is I can't eat my own words. I have to do everything in my power to make that happen. So I've done those things, and yeah, I've got future goals as well. The next one is definitely to Rob Whittaker up. That's my next goal. And I haven't really looked further after that. I kind of had 2 in mind. I was like, okay, I mean, you've seen from the clip we posted, I had Vettori and Rob in mind. And I've dealt with Vettori, finished the Italian job, but now it's the next sequel. And yeah, that's how far I can tell you guys so far. Good question. All right, next one. All right, question from Ryan Stella. Breathing techniques are something I use in my everyday life, especially when training or working out. Does it surprise you some of the top fighters in the sport look tired, look like tired dogs in the later rounds? Why do you think they don't use any type of techniques to control their breathing and lower their heart rate? Thanks in advance, and a big congratulations on your very dominant performance over Marvin. Thank you, Ryan. That was a good question. Not really. It surprised me at how unfit some of these guys are, but it doesn't surprise me that they don't know how to breathe, because we've all been learning wrong how to breathe. Only recently I've kind of like discovered this whole realm now of proper breathing for athletic performance and mental stability. It's like you've been like this whole time with breathing. That's how I feel. And then suddenly, my guy Dave Wood, shout out to Dave Wood from Woody's Movement Workshop. He just does this. Now I'm like, oh shit. Now I see the way. Yeah, so I even notice when I'm chilling how I breathe sometimes. And it's something that I feel in the next year or so, it'll start being noticed. Like even in my last fight in the broadcast, they were talking about it, the way I was breathing, and you could see like, you know, I didn't get tired. I was fresh the whole time. So yeah, give it a year or so and everyone will jump on the train as we lead the way. All right, next one. Ooh, this is a good question from Bertai Anderson. All right, speaking of Anderson, during your fight with Anderson Silva, when he was dropping his hands and you told him to stop doing that.
Right high kick, switch to on the switch, but I like to see him keep his hands up.
You said down the track you need to ask yourself why you would say that to him. Have you found the answer to that question yet? Respect from Perth, Australia. A short answer to your question. Nope, I have not found the answer for that. So yeah, I still have to rattle that one in my noggin a little bit. Why would I tell the guy I looked up to in the game for so long while I'm fighting him and he puts his hands down? Stop doing that. I think that was like a glimpse of the young Izzy coming forth. Yeah, I remember that moment now, and same thing. I'm like, I think it's hard for me to admit, because when I rocked him in the first round, make no mistake, I was looking for the finish. I wasn't trying to take it easy on him or anything. But when he had his hands down, and I like, pop, 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 stop doing that. It was an involuntary response, and I feel like that was a young Izzy looking at his, you know, former idol. I didn't want him to get hurt badly for doing something stupid. Yeah, I have to think about that one even more, but I think that's the answer I can give you for now. Ask me in like 3 years, maybe my answer might change, or it might stay the same. Paul Christine says, Israel, how do you handle the social leeches? Ooh, seeking to attach anything they can to you as a result of your hard-earned path to champion in the UFC. Could you give examples of times where you needed to use your language to set boundaries with these types? Thanks. I know people who struggle with this and could benefit from hearing your experience. That's a good question from Paul Christine. Okay, social leeches. I've experienced this a lot, like just with different kinds of people, different kind of, you know, you get clout trouts, and not just women, men. A lot of men can be clout trouts, just trying to like hang around, cling on, just kind of like grab, and it's just part of society, you know. I've been guilty of it in the past, but I've learned from it. I've learned this is not the behavior I want to be proud of, so I've kind of changed that about myself, and then I became clout, you know. How did I deal with it? Let me try and think of a specific example. Hold on. Recently I mentioned on my stories that, you know, I'm gonna be doing this show. Kind of just me in one of my cars, probably Kurama, doing interviews with cool people that I find cool. And I kind of shared a few clips of people just that I want to interview. And it's no disrespect to people who I know, who are content creators or who are artists or who are, you know, people in the spotlight. But I got a few people hit me up, you know, like, you know, I better be on your little show, or, you know, man, would have a mean interview. And in my head, I was just like, first of all, no one asked you, but this was just me brainstorming. I probably would have interviewed them, but I just felt like it's my show. I want to do this for my people, you guys. And I know you guys with me, so I want to keep giving you more of me or what I think is interesting. I want to interview people who I find interesting, funny, inspiring, and whatnot. And when people start to like hit me up about that and like, oh, you should get me on, this and that, and it just makes me go, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, yeah, that kind of clout trotting I didn't like. Learning to say no. All right, to answer your question, learning to say no. That's one of the best things I've learned in the last 2 years, actually. Learning to say no, and not just for the show, but like for different things, you know. No, people sometimes feel entitled, like, oh, come on, or oh, you could do it, like, oh, you got money, or you can do it, you know, we're your fans or whatever. And I'm just like, I said no. You don't know why I'm saying no, but I need my no to be respected. When I say no, no means no. Yeah. So learning to say no. Good example. Okay, so there was in Phoenix just recently, UFC 263. At the Fighter Hotel, there was this fan who was a little bit extra and then asking for things, and I was obliging. I was like, yep, cool, I'll sign this. Yep, I'll do this video. And I was being cool because, I don't know, I guess I was just in a good mood. But then, what they all do at some point, oh, you know what would really make our day? You'd make our day if you followed us on Instagram, if you followed us. And I was like, no. Back in the day, I'd make an excuse as to why I couldn't. But now I just, nah. Because I don't need to explain why I don't want to follow you on Instagram. First of all, I don't know you. Do I like your content? Do I know who you are as a person? There's no, it's just clout shrouding. They're trying to Starbender follows me. I never really realized how valuable that was. Ugh. It's weird to kind of talk about this, but how valuable that was to people to I'd hear people use it in meetings, it's like a bargaining chip. Yeah, I just told her no, flat out. She was like, oh, it'd make our day if you could follow us. I was like, no. And I didn't have to explain myself. I'm glad I didn't, because yeah, just learning how to say no. I rambled a little bit, but I hope that answers your question. Yeah, learning how to say no and then having them respect your no. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't owe anyone shit. So if people try and cling on to you because of all your hard work and whatnot, even family and friends, you can tell them no and draw the line. And if they don't respect that boundary you set, they ain't with you. They're not with you for the right reasons, or they're not, they ain't solid. That's all I'll say. I hope that answers your question, but that's a really good question. I appreciate that. Ooh, this is a good one. All right, let me read this one. I already read the beginning, and I like the where this is going. When fighters narrowly miss punches on you, do you ever think about becoming more defensively responsible by guarding your head? Or are you always confident in your head movement where your hands are down? E.g., when you're against the cage and a fighter is throwing punches at you and your hands are down, but you're moving your head in low stance. That's a question from, Reza Al Ghul. Why do I know that name? Reza Al Ghul. Yeah, that's a fun question. I will say that by, I think when you have the utmost faith in yourself, your skills, and also when you're in the zone. When you're in the zone, when you hit guard mode, there's a feeling you just know, I'm in this right now. This is it. This is my world. Yeah, and you just know you can't be f***ed with. So I used to back in the day stop and admire my work, but now I don't. Now I try and look for the counter, or I try and look for a way to set them up for something else. I don't know. It's kind of gets me going. Yeah, it gets the people going. Yeah, I like that shit. Question from Kunu P. When you get hurt or stunned during a fight, are you in fight or flight mode, or do you try to use your brain to figure out how to recover? This has only happened to me, if I can think, in 2 fights where I was rocked. One in kickboxing and one in MMA. The one in kickboxing was in China. It was against even the smaller guy. And I just happened to get rocked in the first round. Later on in the first, that was my first time ever getting rocked in a fight, and I thought, and this is when, kickboxing, undefeated, all that kind of stuff. I was like, is this the day I get, beat? Is this the day I get knocked out? I was like, nah, not today. And I survived the end of the first round. That was my thought. I remember that vividly. And then I just attacked him in the second, and I attacked him in the third, and I won the fight. And the one I can think of in MMA is Gastelum. In the first round when he rocked me and I bounced off the cage and I took the center. That one, I just remember to take the center and then just keep attacking. In the Gastelum fight, later on it was instinct and just drills, good technique, muscle memory, teaching your muscles the right thing to do, because there's a whole system of neurons that we don't even use in our muscles. I'm not the right guy to explain that to you, but I kind of am, because I've done it. I remember muscle memory, doing what I've done in the gym. But also, don't overthink it, because sometimes your brain will be your biggest saboteur, with all that self-preservation bullshit, try and preserve you, but nah, I just trust my instincts. Yeah. All right, one more. This is a good one. This question's from Aaron Long. Good lad. All right. Izzy, when you moved to China for a brief period, what was making that decision like? Did you go alone, with anyone? What was your biggest takeaway from traveling all over the world? What was making that decision like? Okay, so I was working at a job that I just wasn't passionate for. It was data entry for this company. Wasn't passionate about in the slightest. So what did I do? I plotted my way out. By my third try, didn't work, to no avail. And I remember one day, I kind of like at my desk, saying, oh, this is it. I'm gonna make my way out of here soon. And then the guy sitting at my 4 o'clock was like, snickered. I turned around, I was like, what's so funny? And he goes, well, Israel, you've said that last year. And I was like, in my head, I think I responded to him actually. I was like, so what? Because I said I was gonna leave last year and it didn't work out. So I'm supposed to just give up and end up like you. Cause I think he was working there for like 8-10 years or something. And then that kind of shut him up quickly. But I made my plan, and I remember the date is September 4th, 2013. I quit that job, and the next day I was on my plane to China. What pushed that decision was just faith in myself. Yeah, that was like what fueled my decision, was just believing in myself. Just like, right, if I'm gonna do this, this is it. Do I want to be having the safety of the 9 to 5, or do I want to save up as much as I can? And then I made the plan. Boom. Free fall, no net, no plan B, but that's for me. Did I go with anyone? No, I went by myself. My teammate, Blood Diamond, my guy, Blood Diamond, was already in China at the time. We've been in China a few times already for fights and come back, but he was living there at the time, so we pretty much just cornered each other for a lot of fights. We made some cool friends there. Ali Yang, my guy, Ali Yang, I think he just signed to one championship. He was the guy in Zhengzhou that spoke the most English, so he was a really good friend. Still is. I just haven't linked up with him in a while because I don't have my WeChat anymore. Last part of the question was, what's my biggest takeaway from traveling all over the world? Last part of the question. My biggest takeaway, we're just people, I feel. Yeah, we're just people trying to do the best we can to make it to the next day. That's the biggest thing I've realized traveling around the world. Like, we're all the same. As much as it's kind of cheesy or whatever you want to say, yeah, we're all the same. We're all just on this journey, trying to do the best we can, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. I feel like we're all the same. We're all one, as Genki Suyo, made it known. We should all know this anyway, but yeah, we're all one. We're all just trying to do the best we can to make it to the next. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah, I think it's 2 more days of quarantine, or 3. I don't even know anymore. But cheers. COVID.